Hello, everyone. Today I'm here with the magical Fern Olivia. And the reason why I say she's magical is because I met her through a friend of mine, and she was able to channel these amazing readings that really helped me with my health journey. And I've actually posted this on a YouTube video for you guys to see. It was her and I's reading together. It was incredible, the types of information that she was able to reveal to me that actually inspired me to make changes on this health journey. And I want to help you recover from your health journey. So I'm here with Fern today, and she's going to be sharing her story, and we're going to be sharing how she got here, what you can expect from Akashic readings, how you can get started on your own, and where to go from your journey from here. So hello, Fern, welcome.
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to share this knowledge and this wisdom with you. The Akashic Records have provided so much insight into my own life, and also it's one of the main focuses that I have been using when I consult thyroid clients in this work that I've been doing for the past, I guess it's been almost 10 years now. So I love this work so much, and I love that. Thank you so much for interviewing me today, because it's a work that a lot of women and men also with thyroid conditions suffer so much, and they don't know about this information that's available to everyone. So I'm really excited to share that today, and hopefully so many of you will feel called to this work, because it really is, it is the missing key to your healing in many, many cases.
And a lot of people may think that, inner work is not as important as diet and supplements. And I used to feel the same way. And then I met people like Fern, and Fern was by far the most amazing person I met that does this sort of inner work and healing. And she specializes in the thyroid area, which is even more incredible. That's why I wanted to bring her on to share her journey and where she started with all of this, because I'm sure, like, just like me, I thought, okay, why do I need to do this inner work? Like at first it's confusing, and there's a bad rap around it almost, where people are kind of swayed away from it. Is that true, Fern?
I've noticed that when I go on the online forums and I see many women with thyroid conditions complaining about the symptoms, it's all about the physical. However, the spiritual, the soul, the energetic, the physical, they're all the same. Your physical body is a reflection of what's going on inside. So, for example, if someone's very highly stressed, most likely the case that their heart is beating so fast and they have this anxiety. In many cases, that's why many people have heart attacks. So if we relate things like that to understanding about the thyroid, that your thyroid is your fifth chakra, it's about self-expression, it's around your creativity in the world. Many of us have blockages from childhood of not feeling worthy of speaking up, or if we did speak up, we would get shut down. Or it could even be so deep as in a past life or family lineage karma of, repression, of being hung. Many women in our world now are starting to speak up and realize it's safe to speak our truth. It's safe to do the work we're meant to do in the world. We're not going to get hung anymore. We're not going to be cut at the throat, or there's so much past life trauma that we take on in our human body in this life. And it sounds esoteric, and that's why so many people just don't even want to go there and don't even want to believe it, because they can't see it. However, it's more than just hereditary. When people say, oh, well, your mom had a thyroid condition or your grandmother had a thyroid condition, okay, that might be the case, and we can change our epigenetics. However, what we also need to be aware of is, what life did they live? Were they speaking their truth? Were they repressed? What happened in your family ancestry? What countries are you from? There's all that plays into the role of your body. and what you carried as a soul into this lifetime. Also, your soul contracts, your karmic vows, all of that stuff. And I didn't start looking at that till midway through my thyroid journey when nothing else was working. So that's usually when someone comes to me, is they're like, okay, I'm taking all the herbs, I'm doing all the things. That's how you came to me, right? Like taking all the herbs, doing all the things, living a pretty healthy lifestyle, but something's still not working. So that's usually the type of people that come to me are open. They're like, okay, well, I'm doing everything that I possibly could do. And then the Akashic records will come in and help assist you in what's missing, what you might be missing in your soul's work of why you incarnated as a human being on this time of the planet, and why your thyroid's acting up. What is the lesson? What's trying to be shown to you? Once you know the lesson, you can heal. You can actually cut the karmic vows. You can actually get through all the heavy body symptoms, and you can start to feel really light. So a lot of people are resistant to that because a lot of times it takes inner work, and that's scary. And that means that, you might have to go in and look at the shadows and do some inner child healing. However, the benefits on the other side is that you're not spending all this money going from doctor to doctor to try to find an answer that they can never give you. So instead of wasting tons of money and buying tons of supplements and doing all the things, you can get the answer, do the inner work, and start to feel better.
That is so true. And I've gone both paths, and I've seen that the inner work is really the path that leads you to feel better, because when we all come to earth, we all have soul contracts, we all have some deed to fulfill. And part of that deed may have you going through this experience of, a thyroid condition, to be able to heal that and learn what you need to learn to go into that next phase of your life. And that's what Hashimoto's really taught me. I knew that before I was in health, I was in tech, and my whole life revolved around executives and working the 9 to maybe 3 a.m. in the morning shifts. And the money was good. And, I thought that was my career path. I thought that's what I was good at. But, when my health, then when I got all this inflammation in my body, and I started having all these symptoms, and I started going to these doctors, I realized health was my true path, and health was where it was most rewarding to me, and helping other people with their health would be most rewarding to me. And that was something that I realized. And then when I got sessions with like Vedic astrologers, with Akashic readings, with like people like Fern, it confirmed that this was my purpose. It was my path. These were my gifts. This is what I had to learn in this life. And knowing these things can bring so much more clarity to you, and who you are as a person, and what you have to master in this lifetime. Otherwise, you may be hit with these symptoms over and over again until you figure this out. Is that true, Fern?
Absolutely. I mean, I studied biomedical engineering, so I went to school for medicine. So I come from a medical background. So for anyone who doubts this work, trust me, I was one of those, science, I only believe in science because I need to be proven. I need to see the medical journal research. And then I realized, well, none of these doctors that I was going to for my symptoms with Hashimoto's could tell me anything. They're just like, okay, come back in 6 weeks, take this medicine, and then let's see what your blood test says. And I was very disheartened, and I was disillusioned, and I felt like I was at the mercy of my Hashimoto's diagnosis, and taking Synthroid and Cytomel for the rest of my life, and then Armour Thyroid. Like, I was like, this can't be the answer. This cannot be the answer. And so when I finally quit my job in finance, because I didn't go into medicine, I was pre-med, and I was like, well, the medical field is not something I want to go in right now. So I went into finance so I could make money. And I lived in New York City, and I fainted in the subway one day, and I said, whoa, my soul is speaking to me. And that was the beginning of my yoga journey. And once I started going on that path of self-realization and understanding my body's symptoms, I couldn't turn back. And that's when I created thyroid yoga, which is this method that I've created to help women and men with thyroid conditions to understand their body symptoms and no longer be at the mercy of medication. You know, you might be taking medication, but you're not at the mercy of it, and you can understand your symptoms and start to wean yourself off the medication and feel better and understand your soul's journey and understand your symptoms and what your body's telling you, so you can be a partner in your body's healing. So that's what I really find is so valuable. And and I pair the Western medicine sometimes. I use functional nutrition and functional medicine with Kundalini yoga, with other practices of yogic knowledge, with breath work, with womb healing, with essential oils, with the Akashic records work, of course. And I marry it all together in this way that's unique for every person. And I also train teachers on doing that. So I have a lot of passions, and ultimately it's to help you understand your soul's journey, and your journey around self-expression and your spiritual gifts, and why you in the first place were gifted this teacher. Your teacher is your thyroid or an autoimmune condition. It's your teacher. It's your biggest teacher in this lifetime. What is it meant to teach you, and how you're going to show up? And instead of being a victim of a diagnosis, how can you turn that around and it be your victory? So that's what I'm really passionate about.
I love that. And many of the women I work with know I've been through 3 or 4 autoimmune conditions, and some of them were coming in pairs, and it was just a mess of a situation. And I kept on getting hit with these autoimmune conditions until I finally realized why I was getting hit with them. And this whole path to discovery was where I should have started this journey. But because I went the conventional route, I went to even functional doctors, naturopathic doctors, and all of those doctors, they are great at prescribing supplements. They're great at sort of reading the book and telling you information that may pertain to what you're feeling, but they don't know your body like you know your body, and they don't know who you are. And maybe you lose yourself at some point in life because of a traumatic situation or because of a situation you go through. And this situation is just trying to bring you back to your original self. And I think that's where Akashic readings become really powerful, because they guide you back to who you really are. And that's when you're in your power. Is that right, Fern?
Absolutely. All of this journey is around how do we get you back into your power, and why you incarnated in this lifetime as a soul on this time of the planet that we're in, you know, and what you're here to speak, what your message is, what your soul purpose is. And when you're in that place of your power and your expression, life becomes joyful. Life becomes really fun. And you become so liberated that it's like you just don't, you're not caught up in the humdrum of the fear mentality or the bondage that kept you limited in the past. You become so aligned with your soul that your health just becomes a radiant reflection of that. And trust me, I was so I didn't always look this radiant and feel this happy. I had so many symptoms, from brain fog to fatigue to always bloating and gassy to getting sick every time I ate everything, to so inflamed that I couldn't even get out of the bed in the morning, and I had to take a subway. Instead of taking the subway in New York City, I started cabbing every day to work, which was $20 each way from Upper East Side to Brooklyn. And you know, like I was stuffy. I always had nasal congestion. My face was so puffy. My neck was so puffy. My belly was so puffy. My joints were puffy. You know, I looked like a marshmallow man. And, you know, I wouldn't have believed you if I told you then, if someone said, okay, Fern's going to live in Costa Rica and read Akashic records in 10 years instead of working in finance, I would have laughed at you, and been like, wait, she's going to feel really good? How's that going to happen? So, but now that I'm on the other side of it, it's my mission and my passion to help people to understand that that is possible. And it can happen faster than you think. You just need to tap into the wisdom of the Akashic records, for example, and give you the missing pieces that maybe you were avoiding, or maybe you just didn't know and no one ever told you that, this, like, I could answer so many questions that, that your soul has been desiring. And it's not me that's giving you the information. It's your team of guardian angels. It's ancestors in your karmic lineage, or even in your family lineage. It's ascended masters. It's your spiritual teachers. It's all this like tribe of your healing council. So they're the ones that communicate through me, and I channel it out to you. So it's been a training that I've taken. I went to Argentina last year to study in the caves and in the mountains, and I've done this great work, and I love it so much because it also isn't just my intuition, because I'm very intuitive. I'm also a psychic channel. So I've studied that and had a certification in psychic channeling and healing as well. The Akashic records are different because they're consulting your specific guides, and I'm channeling in that information from them. So it's not my ego, it's not my higher self. I'm getting the information from your guides communicating through me to you. And then I can also teach you different methods to reach your specific guides. And that comes through in the session, in different ways that you can access that information on your own as well.
And is that through meditation? Is that through yoga? What form do you teach others?
So I do a couple of different modalities of teaching. For the Akashic Records channeling, I can teach you different meditations to access your guides, different practices, rituals, spells, basically, like your own healing spells. You can create your own healing spell book. I love doing that with my clients, and creating your own healing rituals and your healing practices to become your own medicine woman or medicine man. And that will actually be a combination of herbs. I might tell you different herbal blends that your guides are telling you that are really potent for your healing. So you might be singing different mantra and making different, basically like a modern day wizard or witch. But I like to say it as a medicine woman or a medicine man, because that's essentially what a witch in past times were. They were these ancient medicine women. So I like to teach my clients that with different mantra, sound current, Kundalini yoga, and also thyroid yoga practices specifically for your own healing, whether it's Hashimoto's or hypothyroidism or Graves' disease, or had thyroid cancer and thyroid is now removed. I've worked with so many hundreds of clients in all different ways. And my most powerful work is now this Akashic Records reading work and the spiritual work, because it is, everyone on the planet now is being presented with the choice. We can ascend, and we can go into this next way of living that the planet is shifting into. We can go there with our bodies feeling heavy and sick, or we're taking these bodies with us as we ascend. So as we ascend into this next, dimension that the planet's shifting into, the fifth dimension right now. So I want all of our bodies to feel light. So I combine all the technologies that I have available to me to help you get there, and to feel light in your body, to feel strong in your body, to feel radiant in your body. So it's different for everyone that I work with. And then I do train teachers who are interested in these modalities, and then you can learn the practices to guide others, which is so much fun, because together we can unite and like spread this wisdom all over the world to all those who need it.
I love that. That's so magical. And when I worked with Fern, she was able to reveal things to me that I hadn't really visited in a long time. Like the fact that, I wore these really big sweaters when I was younger. And I used to do that because I was so humiliated from my skin discoloration in different areas of my body. And at that age, I didn't know it was from my health condition. I thought, it was hereditary. It was something from my own family that I got, because something I noticed was when I was younger, I look way different as I started getting older, and I was like aging at the speed of light. That's what I felt like, and I didn't know why. And at such a young age, like 15, I didn't have these sort of answers that I do now. But it's almost like, I was supposed, a lot of people age, and for me it was like I was aging at the speed of light, and I was like, wait, something needs to be changed. And now I'm sort of reversing all of that, and it's time to bloom. And I think many of you can do the same with your path and with your journey. It doesn't have to end this way. And that's something that I would like all of you to know, is that, this isn't the end all be all with your symptoms, and it could be getting worse, but these are just signs to tell you, these are just experiences to tell you that you're not going down that right path, or you may need to take a detour, or, and that's what these Akashic records do. And, Fern, like with these Akashic records, I meet with many women on a daily basis who feel that they are cursed, who feel that they have a health spell on them. Is that a myth? Is that a hoax? Um, can you give us more insight into that?
So two things. One of them, it's kind of like a myth, but not really. So it can be part of your karmic lessons that you were given this as a blessing. Think of this as your teacher, your greatest teacher. This autoimmune condition, this thyroid condition is your biggest teacher. And you were given that in this lifetime so you could learn the lessons of self-expression, liberation, and freedom from repression. Freedom from being repressed, for being truly expressed, of being sovereign, right? Like in many lifetimes, you could have been hung, burned at the stake, put in jail for being free, right? For being a free woman, for example. So in this lifetime, you're given this opportunity to break free from that and to speak your truth. It all comes back to this expression of this the butterfly-shaped gland. The thyroid is a butterfly-shaped gland. So it's about that butterfly spreading her wings and being free. So it's not like this, you're not being put in jail having this condition. You're meant to be taught how to be free. So as these little birds are flying around outside, they're like, spread our message, spread our message. So, it's not a myth. And the other thing is that we can change our genetics. That just because your mother and your grandmother had this and they've been on medication all their lives doesn't mean you might have been the one to break the pattern, to break this pattern. So your children, if you decide to have children, or whatever feminine energies are in the lineage after you, aren't going to carry that pain and that burden. You literally slice it through. So with the Akashic records, we learn why that karmic pattern was there in the first place, why this illness has been in your family in the first place, and how you can be the one to stop that and to get yourself off this dependence on being at the mercy of medication and feeling sluggish and tired and foggy and gaining weight and having skin issues and all the things, to getting to a really empowered place where you understand your symptoms. All of a sudden your skin is glowing, you're losing the weight. I mean, I had skin issues all my life, cystic acne, and I was always bloated and feeling like anything I ate, I would just gain 10 pounds. And if only I knew then that I was shoving down inner child healing issues that needed to be looked at, that I was feeling abandonment, that I didn't feel free as a child, and what that was doing and manifesting in my physical body, and then why I had certain habits and lifestyle tendencies, and then also why I even chose to work in finance and what that needed to teach me. So I learned all of this now, and looking back, and I'm like, wow, I wish someone could have guided me through that then. I wouldn't have spent, instead of 10 years doing this, I would have gotten to this result much sooner. So I see my clients now are so accelerated on their healing. They're so fast. I mean, they'll work with me in 3 months and all of a sudden have lost like 20 pounds, because a lot of people come to me for weight issues, because that's one of the biggest, symptoms of an autoimmune condition or thyroid condition, is just this inability to lose weight, always gaining weight, always feeling puffy and inflamed. So I like to address these physical symptoms right away, so you can start feeling better. And then when you feel better, you start attracting more, you start manifesting more in your life, you receive more abundance, because you're not just using all your energy to heal your symptoms, you're using all your energy to create joyful things in the world. So my clients are quitting their jobs, they're creating amazing things in the world, they're losing all this weight and then attracting their partner and feeling like so radiant, and like they want to be on camera now and do publications and like all this stuff, because they're not feeling like they have to hide all the time or hide emotions with food, especially food that doesn't serve us and our bodies in this way, because we have to eat specifically, and understanding what food is really going to help you have the highest vibration, the highest energy levels. So the Akashic Records teaches so much. I can really go deep with that work. To all those who are open to it, it's like I wish that 8 years ago, 10 years ago, when I was struggling so much, that someone had come to me and said, I need to offer you an Akashic Records reading. This is going to seriously change your symptoms in your life. I would have just like prayed and like bowed down and said, yes, I will do anything. So.
Right? Same here. I wish I didn't spend all this money on doctors, and I could have just, been to people like Fern and just worked with them for 3, 6 months and not have to ever deal with what I went through. But, it was a learning journey. And if I can go back, I would start working with Fern today. Like that would be my first step, because doctors, they're good, they have degrees, they may be smart, but they can only help with so much. And they're not going to want to learn about you and understand your suffering like Fern will. And that's where that's what you need, because I feel like to love somebody, you have to understand their suffering. And Fern is willing to do that with everyone she works with. She's understanding someone's core and where they're coming from, their patterns, how they can unlearn these patterns, how they can thrive, with their life and remove these blockages in their life. And it's not just like a curse that's holding them back. It's something that's trying to teach you something. And you've heard it from me. You've seen Fern, and she shared her story, and she shared how she works. And how do you work, Fern? Do you have these consultations and it's like a weekly basis? Is it like pay as you go sort of thing? Do you have retreats?
Yes, to all of this. So I have an initial session, an Akashic Records reading, that's $222 USD. And I see you for between an hour and a half, depending on how many questions you have and how open your guides are to give you information. Most people will use that full amount of time. So I love that. And then usually I offer a series of 3 for 444. So that usually happens right after the first session. You want 3 follow-ups, because there's so many, after you start integrating this knowledge that you've been given, there's all these next questions that you have. You listen to the recording that I give you, and meditations, I give you meditations and all these different rituals that your guides will share with me during the session. And then generally there's a series of 3 follow-ups. And then some clients I've been seeing for a year or even more. So, and then sometimes I create something custom where I'll combine the Akashic Records with rebirthing breath work to take you into your breath, to do your birth journey, to take you all the way back into the womb and then all the way into the birth canal, because, there's so much trauma in birth. Babies that were born via C-section versus a vaginal birth might have missed the whole microbiome of receiving the nutrients from the mother's womb. So, and exiting that way. So there's all that we can look into also, and then doing a rebirth breathwork journey of healing any abandonment, healing any, traumas of the birth process. So I integrate those sessions in, as well as thyroid yoga, to specifically work with you and your symptoms. So I create packages, custom mentorship packages with my clients. And then I also do teacher trainings and then retreats here, because I have a cleanse center called Thea Retreats in Santa Teresa, Costa Rica, where I live. And I'm sure that we'll put it in the show notes here for you to check out. I do liver cleanses. They're based on the medical medium protocol. And I pair up with the founder of this cleanse retreat center, and we offer 5, 7, 10-day liver detoxes with juices and smoothies and medicinal herbs from the jungle here in Costa Rica. And that's something I love so, so, so much, because here you'll have this consistent, it's basically like a womb in the middle of the jungle where we'll be holding you through the entire process of cleansing and feeling better. And every time I do this cleanse, I get so light, I get so clairvoyant, I get so connected to source, because I'm clearing all the densities. And also the herbs that we have here are so potent. They're so strong. We're not getting things from a capsule. We're getting things like literally the medicinal herbs are growing in my garden right now. So things like moringa are right here. We've got so many other medicinal herbs, that spirulina, we've got lots of liver detox herbs right here on our land. So that's been really special to offer. And then medicinal fruits, so high in vitamin C and vitamin B, and all, like, it's just so beautiful. So it's also a luxury retreat center, so you're completely taken care of in the middle of the jungle on a mountain overlooking the ocean. And I was just giving another Akashic Records reading right before this session. I was watching the whales in the water. So it's so healing and it's so beautiful. And if you feel called to join me out here, it's always the perfect time to come, because the weather is beautiful. It's sunny, it's warm, and up here on the mountain we really don't get that many bugs because we're not close to the beach. It's like a little 5-minute drive down the hill, but since we're up so high, we get this nice breeze that's coming through all the time. And it's really beautiful. I feel like I live in the best possible place on earth for nourishing my own health, which is why I decided to live here. And I have this team of healers literally that lives on the property. So I would love to welcome you here and work with you. So if any of this resonates with you and you'd like to set up a session, you can contact me. And the website is thyroid.yoga. My Instagram is Fern Olivia. I connect and I share, and I just want to hear about you and support you in all the ways you need.
I love that. And one of the reasons I love working with Fern is over other modalities of healing was because it's so deep. And the information I received was not like, you're an Aries and you like the color red and your gemstone is this. And, it's not like this basic information. Of course, I'm very tuned into the energies and what's going on globally when the energy is heavy and what's going around the planets. But this is beyond that. This is going into your womb. This is like going into like before you were birthed, and it's so individualized, and all the information you receive is pertaining to you, and it's not generalized in a way that it can pertain to a few people, and she'll never say, oh, there's a bad spell on you, now you have to balance your chakras. It's like, I've met so many of these healers who claim to be healers, and I kind of wonder, I'm like, how is this helping me? Like, how is this of value to me? But the information that Fern gives is very, very insightful, because it's helping you understand your own patterns, your own blocks, and she's doing it in a way that it's insightful, it's informative, it's not critical, it's not criticizing, because at the end of the day, she's here to help you heal. And I think many of us can use that, especially during these times, of course, but even with our conditions, because with autoimmune, it's kind of like we're already isolating ourselves and we're already experiencing the pain, but we don't know why. We don't know why we're misunderstood. We don't know why we're having to live in this isolation. And we don't know what this is teaching us. And these are all questions that Fern is able to answer through her channeling. Is that right?
You nailed it. Yeah, it can be so. I remember with my own condition, so I can always speak to that. I felt like this was all my fault. I was like, it's all my fault. I'm always the one who needs to eat differently. And, it's all my fault. I feel so yucky. And my family didn't help, like they didn't know. It's not their fault that they either, but, like I couldn't go out and be a normal person and, go to a restaurant and eat certain food. So I always felt like I was a burden. Or dating, I just felt so weird, like, oh, I don't want to go to a bar because I don't eat this type of food, and I can't drink alcohol because it spikes my thyroid levels, so I felt so weird. And then, if people aren't going to you with compassion, and doctors aren't really resonating and taking the time to understand what you're going through, you just feel like you're all alone. And you feel like, at least for me, I felt like I was the only one who could understand what I was going, and I didn't even understand what I was going through. All I knew was that I felt like crap. And I would sit at my desk at work and just cry. And I didn't know why I was crying. I was just like, I don't know why I'm living this life. And actually, I felt like I had depression. I was never clinically diagnosed, but I felt so foggy and just so zombie that I was like, am I depressed? I'm not happy. I don't love my life at all. I don't even know how to love my life. I don't even know why people love their lives. I'm not even inspired. And, like I know so many people like that, and they're not even tested for a thyroid condition. And most oftentimes there is an imbalance there. And the thyroid imbalance creates an imbalance in the brain chemistry. And I've studied this, that the brain scans of someone with clinical depression mimics the brain of someone with autoimmune thyroid condition. And people aren't even testing the brains for this depression that they're giving medication to see if they even have a thyroid imbalance. So much can be healed by just healing the thyroid, and in the ways that I'm discussing, the ways, the holistic therapies, the energy work, speaking your truth, specific herbs and rituals, liver cleansing. And I get this information through the Akashic records. So, and I also get the information on a planetary scale. When I open the planetary records, I'm getting the information on why so many people have thyroid conditions right now and what that means for the planet. So I do group readings as well. So different groups will come to me, and I'll do readings for, a group of individuals at a specific healing retreat, or, you can have me as a guest on a speaker series or whatever it is. And I will tap into the energy of those particular souls on the call. They're live, or a retreat, for example. So all of this is so important, and it helps us to get out of the disillusionment and the lack of inspiration, because we're able to understand that this is not our fault. And it's actually, like I mentioned earlier, it's actually a gift and a teacher, so we can become our highest selves, and we can feel light and free, and we can have joy in our life and live where we want to live, and be with people who light us up. And it's all possible for you. It's right there, and it's just waiting for you to tap into it. And I give you the hows. That's the thing. I can give you the how to get there. I'm not just saying like, oh, this esoteric idea is what you can be doing with your life. No, I'll actually be able to tap into your guides who want to give you this information to help you, and know how to call upon those guides as you're doing the thing, or to have an additional session so we can keep working on it together. So there's just so much I want to share with you, and I just can't wait to get to know all of you in such a deep, beautiful way, and support your journey.
I love that. And when people work with you, I know a lot of the women I work with, they just want to get their life back. They want to, like you said, lose the weight. They want to feel great again. And are they able to return to their lives? Like, you said the alcohol, the going out, enjoying their life. Like, what is their lifestyle like? Like, is this a lifestyle change that they will have to make for the rest of their lives? Or is it kind of like they work with you and then they can live their life and go on. For me, I choose to live this life of eating very plant-based, of, not like, I really watch my energy, and I don't feel like my energy lightens up when I go to a nightclub or when I go to these places where there's alcohol, because I feel like I have a very pure spirit and I need to be in areas where people are very insightful and deep. And that's something that I learned about myself, because I saw that these places I went to were draining my energy and not really lightening up my energy. And so I think this is the work that Fern will also help you with. But um, it's do you see people returning to their lives, like their old lives? I would say toxic lives. um,
That's the thing. Like, that's such a funny question. It's like, why would you want to feel shitty? Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I once I know that something can serve me and really help me heal, then I don't want to go back. When I ask you, if you're like, well, I'm going to miss going to the clubs or drinking or all those things. Well, will you miss when you feel that good? Will you really want to sabotage yourself? And I'm not saying that you can never drink alcohol again, but if you start to drink something, you'll notice, oh my gosh, that feels so toxic in my body. Why am I doing it? Am I doing it for my friends because I want to like hang out with them so they think that I'm cool? Or am I drinking because I really love the taste of red wine? And then can I drink in moderation then? Or, you start to understand, like, am I doing things for others? Am I going to these restaurants that I don't even like the food anymore because I'm eating all this clean stuff and sugar doesn't taste good to me anymore? So why am I going to these gatherings? You start to have a higher level of self-worth and self-discipline because you truly know what you're worthy of. You're worthy of feeling good. So why would you hang out with lower vibrational beings? Do you really get nourished by them, or will you get more nourished by being home and doing a yoga practice and maybe having some friends over who resonate more with your values? For me, I rather be alone than with low vibrational people. I love myself. I have that much integrity and self-worth that I don't want to diminish my vibration by hanging out with people who are drinking and on a lower. Not saying that drinking is all bad, right? But like, I'm not going to go to a bar where maybe the music is loud and it doesn't really nourish my nervous system. I'm not going to go there when I can just have a beautiful night at home with candles and like beautiful music, and maybe invite some friends over and drink cacao and have a little ceremony and dance. Like, you just begin to find ways that you vibrate with other people. And you may lose friends, and that's okay, because their vibration isn't going to be at the same level yours is. And that's part of the process, right? Like losing relationships, losing friends. But then ask yourself, were those relationships really serving my health? Are those people really eating the way I eat and like understanding and resonating with the frequency that I live on? If you rather be on that vibration and stay with those people and still feel crappy and like not 100%, that's your choice. I'm not making any choices for you. You get to decide how fast you want to feel better. And, it's a big process. This is a life journey. And you have to let go of friendships and relationships on this path. It's just a necessity. Otherwise, you're going to stay exactly where you are. So it's part of the process, and I'm here to help you through that because I've done it, and I've seen so many friendships evolve. And now I'm so happy where I live that, everyone that I hang out with resonates on the same vibration and does this with their health. And I've made that choice. I left so many friendships and relationships, and I left living in different cities to go live out in the jungle with people who live like this. And there are people in the cities, and there are people in the other areas that live like this too. But I was just like, this is for my health. I am my greatest investment. I only have one body in this lifetime. How do I want to live it? Where do I want to live? And I made those choices. And it's where I live is not meant for everyone, but there are choices you can make in your life to find where you're meant to live, and living with your soul tribe and your community in a way that really inspires your radiant health. And there are places that are more difficult to do that. And you have the free will, you have the opportunity to say yes to your life, or to say, no, I'm not worthy of living like that. I'm scared. I don't have, I don't have it in me to take those steps. And it's all okay. It's all perfect. And I'm just going to give you the mirror reflection of what's possible for you, give you the mirror reflection of health, and inspire you with all I can. And then you have the free will to do with the information what you desire.
I love that. That's amazing. Yeah, and a lot of these people, it's like many people in my group and even myself, I was sort of like going on a date was draining my energy because then I knew, I had to eat a certain way, I had to drink like them. And like I realized, going from the whole 3D to the 5D, the low vibration to a higher vibration, I saw myself not even wanting to go out or wanting to date people that were not the same energy frequency as I was, because like Fern said, it lowers your vibration, it lowers your immune system, it lowers your energy. And you kind of, when you get to know yourself, you kind of understand what lights you up, what brings you joy, what you like doing, what you don't like doing. And that's the thing, is like for me, dating people that didn't vibrate on the same energy levels was not going to happen. And sometimes it's disheartening, like you realize that even like your own family members don't really know who you are. But when you truly know yourself and you truly understand who you are from a deep place, you're able to realize who doesn't understand you and who doesn't really see you for the amazing person that you are. And then when you realize that, you kind of push back everybody that has sort of drained your energy, because you see them as energy drainers versus energy, I guess, like people who encourage you to or bring you joy in your life. Because even like interacting with Fern, she lights up my energy, she brings me joy, she brings me this like deep insight that I could not basically have a conversation with somebody who vibrates on a lower energy. And it's like they're not bad people, they're just not at the same frequency you are. When you make these realizations about yourself and who you really are, and when you understand that you want to be around people that see you for who you really are. And that could mean, getting away from your family members who never saw you for who you really were, or even close friends, or leaving behind coworkers. And it's a big step. It was a big step for me. It took a lot of courage, because I was like, okay, accepting these people, even though they didn't understand me, they misunderstood me, but I was still accepting them in my life. But I realized that that was causing more toxicity in my own life. Did you feel that way too, Fern?
Absolutely. And you know what? It was like a constant evolution to find myself where finally now I feel so whole and complete with myself that I say no to so much. Even just conversations with friends who are just message me and like, let's catch up. And I'm like, I'm in a really good place right now. I don't want to just like even have like a catch up conversation. My only conversations need to be around like this type of work. Or, like I'm constantly reading and doing things for healing and studying. So I rather devote time to that than just going to an event to just mingle. Like I know, like I really value my time, and I really value having time for the work that I do and seeing clients and feeling really, really inspired when I see my clients. I don't want to feel drained when I see you. I want to feel inspired and uplifted. And, so any lower vibration energy will take away from what I'm able to give the world. So I do it for beyond me. Like I do it for myself so I feel light, but then beyond that, I have a responsibility to the work that I do. So I can't go drink alcohol. That'll cloud my clairvoyance. I won't be able to serve in the way that I want to. If I stay out late and binge eat, I'll feel foggy the next morning and I won't want to work on my, do my practices. And then say I have a client session at 10 o'clock and I haven't done my own self-care practices, how will I give to you? So it's for me, but then also it goes far beyond that. So I think of every decision that I make, and I'm not like super like critical of everything I do. I mean, I'm a really free bird. If you look at my Instagram, you see that I'm like naked in the waterfall, but I live that way of this flow and this feminine flexibility, because if we're too rigid and we're like too hypercritical, then the orthorexia comes up with the eating disorders, with only eating certain foods and then not eating, and then like we don't want to be too rigid. So it's finding that balance, but then having this high sense of self-worth, of knowing, will this serve me or will this not serve my highest vibration? If it doesn't serve my highest vibration, I care enough about myself, I have enough integrity that I'm not going to go to a lower vibration just because it'll make someone else feel good, right? So just because, someone has a birthday party and asks me to go, but I know that I don't feel lit up about going, if I'm not getting a hell yes, then I'm not going to go. And that's not going to make me a bad person. I'd rather stay home than, go to a gathering. That's okay. So just have that. It's a process, it's a lesson. And I've really had to create strong energetic boundaries. And that's something I've also taught. I taught a course on energetic boundaries and psychic protection. And I'm happy to teach that to you in a session if anyone feels called, because we need to learn how to energetically protect ourselves from energy leaks and energy vampires who try to get into our field when we're vibrating at a high frequency. Others will try to get in there and suck that energy because they are attracted. Dark is attracted to the light. And so they want to get things from you, and they want as much as they can get from you, but their vibration might not be high, and that's going to zap you on an energetic level too. So all of these things, I know we're giving so much information. So this might be just like mind blowing right now, and might be the first time you've heard some of this information. So be really gentle with yourself, reach out to me. We'll do a session. We'll talk about it. We'll work at the level you're at today. So I don't expect that all of a sudden overnight that you're going to be like, changing all your thought patterns and all your belief systems and releasing all your karmic vows. It takes time. It took years for your body to be at the state that she's in right now. It took years of patterning, years of subconscious belief systems, years and lifetimes and lineage stuff that you're going through. So the most important thing is that we are gentle, that we are compassionate, and that we love ourselves. Because if we don't love ourselves and we don't take care of ourselves, how do we expect that we're going to get taken care of by another, right? Like, how can we expect our partner will know what we need and what we want if we don't treat ourselves with that dignity and self-care and respect? And how do we expect that a doctor is going to know what's going on with us if we can't even communicate and express, what is going on with ourselves and our lineage and our, all of this is so important for ourselves, and then also so we can be, relate to the world and create a better humanity and and honor the earth. It all is a reflection. So it's so important that you do this work and don't give up, and that you're gentle, you're kind, you're loving to yourself, because how you treat yourself is ultimately how you are commanding that others treat you too.
Absolutely. And, with that, I just want to remind you again that, have a session with Fern. It's so worth it. I think I'm going to have 3 sessions with her just to experience it, but it's so worth it. $444, that's seriously like what you would spend buying some supplements and going to an initial consult with a doctor, which is, for me, has not been very informative at all. It has not given me insight into anything. In fact, if your body is inflamed and you have this thyroid condition, anything that you put in your body disregards until you get rid of this inflammation. And until you are able to understand the root of this inflammation and where it's coming from and how you can get rid of it, that's what Fern helps you with. And without that, You know, nothing you do will really help you in a way that is going to be healing you. I mean, it may feel like it's almost like a placebo. You
Yeah.
know, like I mean, every doctor is going to tell you take iodine, take zinc, take, you know, all these different supplements. But when your body has all these fires and it's trying to put out the fire, it doesn't care if you go run a marathon or if you know, put all this like multivitamins in your body. It's just gonna let it them do its thing. It's not gonna process them because it's too busy burning the fires in your body. So
Exactly it. That's exactly it. I mean, I was spending $800 a month on supplements when I lived in New York. I was on stuff for my leaky gut. I was on stuff for my adrenal burnout. I was on stuff for my liver. I was on stuff for my thyroid. I was on stuff for just like nutrients, like every single vitamin. It was just like all day I had a pill box that was like this long from Monday through Friday, but that was one day. I had to fill that every day for the week. I was having so many, like literally with a meal, I would like pop 5 supplements. I was like, okay, gulp of water, 5 supplements down. And that did nothing. I was literally throwing money in the toilet, basically. So if that resonates with you, please, like, just like, we need an intervention meeting. We need to have an Akashic record session. I'll tell you the supplement or maybe 2 that might really work for you. And it's probably in a tincture, and it's probably something that's like for your liver first, because that's the first step. And that, you know what, your guides will probably tell me what I'll tell you right now is that you're wasting your money on all these supplements if your body can't handle it. And what ones will really help you right now, and then, you know, what ones might help you next. And I'm not replacing the information from a doctor, but I'm really helping you to understand that some of what they're telling you, it's never personalized for you. It's just looking at a lab report, which is a snapshot in time, and it's going to show you all the deficiencies that you have at one snapshot in time. However, if you're just not addressing the underlying root cause and you're just going to burden your body with all these supplements, your body's going to freak out and say, I can't even handle this. My stomach acid is so acidic that it's just going to like eat through all this stuff, and none of it's going to be assimilated. And your body's just already struggling, and then you put more stuff in it for it to struggle and try to make sense out of it. It's just like, no, stop. Let's talk, and let's get to what will really help your body to heal. Because trust me, I've been there, and I've been there for years at this struggle thing and losing hope. And um I was 30 pounds heavier at least than I am now, and I just felt so miserable. And you know, with the cystic acne and the bloating and the constipation, and you know, I just wish that someone had held my hand there and just like gave me the biggest hug and said, like, it's not your fault. Let's go deep into this inner child healing work, and understand what happened in your lineage, and understand what your karmic lessons are in this life, and why your thyroid's inflamed in the first place. And I would have been like, please, no one has ever even explained what any of that means to me. If we can just like do that, that'll help me more than this $800 doctor visit and supplements that I just burned through. So
yeah, and
yeah.
if they want to come down and have like a liver cleanse retreat, is that a totally different package? Like, is that something they can also find on your site?
Yeah, I do customized retreats. So that's all about your needs, what you need. We can have a complete liver cleanse retreat here with Akashic records included, and breath work, the rebirth breath work that I mentioned, and including, you know, nature hikes and beach healing sessions where you're on the beach and we put blue clay, like detox blue clay on you to pull out the heavy metals. And we do beach spa. We do all these different types of lymphatic massage and craniosacral work, and really, really beautiful healing sessions. So we combine all these things together and create a beautiful retreat package for you, whether it's 5 days, 7 days, 10 days, longer. it's really up to you. So you can see my website for that information and contact me specifically, and we'll create something for you, because this place is so healing. You'll see on my website some pictures of where I live in the retreat center, Thea Retreats. We have an infrared sauna, so you can do your daily detox in there and pull out the heavy metals and all the kills. So the infrared sauna is just like another topic that's just so amazing and deeper than a regular sauna. And so, what we can do together in this short amount of time is to really reset your body and give you sustainable tools to live this lifestyle where you feel supported, you know what to do, you have accountability, we stay in touch afterward, we get you on specific dietary plans and ways that your body specifically needs nutrients to thrive. So that's what I love to do, and I'm here, I live here, so I will be here. You just choose the dates and then we'll make it happen.
Incredible. I love that. I think that is an amazing resource for anyone who's looking to heal. And
Mm.
clearly, this is one of the longest interviews I've had. Most of my interviews are 40 minutes, but we've gone way over. But very insightful. So many great pieces and gems. And there's a lot of information in this. I'm sure many of you are overwhelmed, but the key takeaways are really, start with the Akashic records, learn about yourself, learn about what you're here to do, and your thyroid will heal itself. And we're two living examples of that. So, what about you, Fern? Any last key takeaways?
Yes, your body is meant to heal. Your body will heal itself. We just need to give it the environment to do that. And specifically, that's where I live in Costa Rica. It is a blue zone. It's a National Geographic blue zone. So meaning it's one of the areas in the world, National Geographic found and researched these top areas in the world where people live the longest. And one of them is exactly where I live in the Nicoya Peninsula in Costa Rica. So if you want to see what that's like, come visit, and I'll be here to hold your hand through it all, and to really feel that love and compassion, and give you what you've always desired, for someone to understand where you're at. And it's the biggest gift you can give yourself. And I've done so many cleanse retreats for myself, and invested in myself, and this is really what has been the instrumental part of my healing. It's why I radiate now, rather than being so, puffy, lethargic, depressed. So this really will change everything for you. And the Akashic Records is the first place to start if you're interested about this work. We can do a session, and you can book it through my website, and we'll talk. And I'm really excited. I'm really, really excited to get to know you. I'm really excited to help you on your healing journey, and be that person that uncovers this gold of information that is available to you. So
Thank you so much, Fern. Thank you for taking your time today to speak to us about what you do and how you can help us. And I can't wait to even go on this journey myself. I'm already thinking about retreating to Costa Rica. So thank you so much for giving us all this great information.
oh, it's a pleasure. Thank you for having me here. And yeah, I can't wait for your next sessions too.
Thank you.